Imagine buying a $100 million plane and paying 0 import tax. Now, imagine that's legal. $11 trillion is hidden this way, and the rule book was written by the winners. Stick with me 60 seconds and I'll show you how the skies became a vault they control. Billionaires don't just use banks, shell companies, or offshore trusts to hide wealth. They use the skies. Behind every luxury jet parked on a runway is something darker than champagne and leather seats. These jets aren't just for comfort, they're engineered financial weapons. Registered in tiny islands you've barely heard of, wrapped in layers of shell companies, they become invisible fortresses of money. The Isle of Man, San Marino, Aruba, Cayman Islands. Names that sound like vacations, but in reality, billionaire air havens, where $100 million aircraft pay no duty, leave no trace, and shield owners from lawsuits. The middle class saves up for a plane ticket. The elite build flying tax shelters. Once you see how the skies have been carved into invisible financial highways, you'll never look at private jets or the people inside them the same way again. If you want more people to see how even the sky is rigged, tap like. Share this with someone who thinks luxury taxes work. And hit subscribe, because what we're about to uncover isn't aviation, it's financial warfare. Chapter 1. Skies of Secrecy. Most people see a private jet and think luxury. Champagne in crystal glasses, billionaires reclining in leather chairs, a life without airport lines. But here's the dirty secret. These jets aren't just symbols of excess, they're legal instruments. Every time a gleaming Gulfstream lifts off, it's not just moving a billionaire from New York to London, it's moving money. Hidden money, protected money. How? Through something you probably never thought twice about. Aircraft registries. That tail number painted on the back of every jet isn't random. It tells you the country and system chosen to shield the asset. And they don't pick those countries by accident. A jet might cost $50 million. In most countries, buying one triggers massive import duties, VAT, and luxury taxes, tens of millions in extra cost. In billionaire playbooks, that's unacceptable. Why bleed money when you can just skip the rules? So they park jets in secret-friendly jurisdictions. Isle of Man, Aruba, San Marino, the Caymans. Not for smoother runways, but for invisible vaults of protection. Offer tax-free registries, offer anonymity, offer global acceptance. Result, these places become magnets for the ultra-rich. It goes deeper. Registering offshore isn't only about tax, it's about layers of secrecy. On paper, the jet is owned by a trust in one country, leased by a shell company in another, managed by a third-party operator somewhere else. Try untangling that web. Good luck. By the time you think you've found the owner, you're staring at a nominee director in the Caymans who's never even seen the plane. They save tens of millions on a single jet, legally. And the kicker? These registries are internationally recognized. Airports don't refuse an Isle of Man jet or a San Marino jet. Billionaires enjoy the best of both worlds, global access plus total invisibility. To the average person, a private jet is a plane. To the ultra-rich, it's a flying tax shelter, a lawsuit-proof bunker, and a reminder that the rules were never meant to be equal. Let's pull open the door to the crown jewel of billionaire air havens. Chapter 2. Isle of Man, the crown jewel. At first glance, the Isle of Man looks like a quiet patch of green between England and Ireland. Motorcycle races, old castles, sheep farms. Peel back the postcard and you'll find one of the most powerful financial loopholes in the world, hiding in plain sight. Its M register isn't just a list of airplanes, it's the golden ticket for buyers who don't want to pay a dime more than they have to. Picture a $60 million Gulfstream G700. In India, import duty alone can reach 30 to 40%. That's an extra $20 million gone. In the US or Europe, VAT and luxury levies stack on top. But on the Isle of Man, zero import duty, zero VAT on operations, zero luxury taxes. The savings aren't millions, they're tens of millions. That's why the world's richest quietly send their jets there. Money saved is only the start. Privacy is the jackpot. On paper, the jet is registered under shell companies, trusts, or nominee directors. The billionaire's name? Nowhere. Investigators hit a wall because the island's framework protects ownership like a state secret. And it's not sloppy. The island built a world-class aviation authority, efficient, trusted, globally recognized. An M-tail gets waved through internationally with zero suspicion. It's not a back door, it's a premium brand. Inside circles, having the M register is a flex. You've made it into the elite Sky Club. Here's the dark twist. The Isle of Man doesn't make planes or engines. Its economy feeds off secrecy and loopholes. Want to dodge lawsuits? The individual doesn't own the jet. A shell company leases it from a trust. If a lawsuit comes, the defense is simple. My client doesn't own this aircraft. It's leased from an offshore entity. You can't seize what you can't legally tie to a name. That tiny M on the tail? Not just a code, it's a quiet firewall. Meanwhile, taxpayers elsewhere foot the bill. When money vanishes into havens, governments plug holes with cuts to schools and hospitals, or raise your taxes. Now, if the Isle of Man is the jewel, who are the accomplices? Let's meet the rest of the Shadow Fleet. Chapter 3. The Shadow Fleet, San Marino. Tail prefix T7-. Minuscule country. Maximal advantage. Little to no VAT on jet fuel or maintenance. Billionaires running $50,000 per hour birds pay almost nothing in taxes on the essentials, while you get taxed every time you fill a scooter. Their legal system is tailored for leasing arrangements. Billionaires lease to themselves through shells, hiding ownership and shrinking taxes in one move. Aruba, tail prefix P4-. Sunny beaches, yes, but also offshore shells as common as coconuts. Hide your name? Easy. Shield assets during lawsuits? Standard. Register via a shell so the jet's owner is a faceless company? Routine. Cayman Islands, tail prefix VP-. You've heard of Cayman bank accounts. Their aviation registry is equally infamous. Cayman companies own the aircraft. The billionaire leases it back at friendly rates. When tax authorities ask questions, the response is simple. I don't own it. I lease it. Cayman's confidentiality keeps the trail cold. Together, these registries stack like Russian dolls. Company A, Cayman, owns. Company B, Isle of Man, manages. Company C, San Marino, leases. By the time you map the trail, months are gone, and the paperwork just moved again. This isn't travel, it's wealth management with wings. And when you design a system to maximize secrecy, you don't just attract billionaires, you attract dirty money. Kleptocrats, shadow capital, politically exposed figures. The same doors that shield reputation become runways for corruption. We've circled the map. Now step inside the legal armor that makes jets untouchable. Chapter 4. Flying Fortresses of Anonymity. The plane lands, cameras flash, a scandal breaks. In a normal world, that jet points investigators straight to an owner. Here, the breadcrumbs vanish into a maze. Billionaire jets are wrapped like mummies, layer over layer, until nothing human remains visible. Formula: trusts plus shell companies plus leasing plus opaque registries equals immunity. Trusts. The beneficial owner is split from the legal owner on paper. The trust sits in a secrecy jurisdiction. The trustee is a professional firm elsewhere. the owner is a nominee. Subpoenas hit a wall. Details protected by local law. Shells. Company A in Cayman owns the jet. Company B on the Isle of Man leases it to Company C, the operator. The billionaire appears only as a beneficiary behind private agreements. The trail looks like a map drawn by a sadist. Dotted lines, offshore boxes, names that lead nowhere. Leasing. The elegant distance maker. Instead of owning, the billionaire's offshore company leases the aircraft. A creditor tries to seize assets. You can't seize what we don't own. Courts now face a slow, expensive, international slog. Most plaintiffs don't have the budget. Finance and insurance add more fog. Loans go to SPVs, special purpose vehicles, not individuals. Insurance and reinsurance route through hubs with privacy-heavy rules. If a claim goes bad, the fight starts in whichever court has the weakest disclosure. This ecosystem is powered by professionals, wealth managers, boutique law firms, trust companies, registrars. They are licensed architects of secrecy. They draft the clauses. They pick the jurisdictions. They sell repeatable protection. Secrecy isn't invincible. Leaks happen, nets tighten, but the rich adapt first. New havens pop up. Structures migrate. It's global whack-a-mole, and the mole owns the mallet. Human cost? Governments lose revenue that should fund schools, hospitals, infrastructure. Plaintiffs win judgments but collect nothing. Public trust erodes. People see loopholes and lose faith in the rule of law. You can't buy a G700, but you can still steal pages from the playbook. Here's how to ground the game and yourself. Chapter 5. Grounding the Game. You've seen the Sky Fortress, the veils of trusts and shells, the registries that smile at billionaires and shrug at everyone else. What does it mean for you, without a jet, without a tax lawyer, just trying to survive in an economy that feels like quicksand? First truth. These schemes are about power asymmetry. The jet is a mechanism and a metaphor, proof the system bends for those who know how to play. You can't outspend them, but you can outlearn the game. Small moves matter. Move 1. Shift from consumer to owner. Owners get deductions, consumers get receipts. Start a side business, form a simple entity. Suddenly, part of your phone, rent, gear, travel becomes deductible. The code punishes wages and rewards ownership. Move 2. Use leverage carefully. Billionaires borrow against assets instead of selling and triggering taxes. Use responsible debt to acquire income-producing assets, rentals, small businesses, even content systems, where the cash flow pays the note. Move 3. Demand daylight. You can't rewrite law tomorrow, but you can share what you learn, support investigators, and refuse to normalize secrecy. Public pressure does change rules, slowly, then all at once. Fairness isn't the baseline in money. Strategy is. Psychology matters. Watching jets glide tax-free while you eat payroll deductions can turn anger into apathy, and apathy is the system's secret victory. Flip it. Awareness leads to agency. Explain this to a friend. Jets aren't registered offshore for fun. Isle of Man saves tens of millions in duty. That one conversation spreads a contagion of clarity. Look up at the next private jet cutting clouds. Don't see luxury. See a vault with wings. See a flying tax shelter. Proof that money bends rules, and knowledge can bend them back. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. If this flipped your view of money, share it now. Wake someone else up. Subscribe and stay close, because next we expose the most powerful way the ultra-rich erase inheritance tax without selling a thing. You don't want to miss how that trick works, or how the fallout lands on you.